based on a series of unfortunate events. The books and the Netflix adaptation are fantastic. As for the movie, whether or not you like it, you probably wouldn't say it's better than either of them. In fact, it's arguably inferior. Unlike the Netflix adaptation, which covers all 13 of the books, the movie only covers the first 3. Bad Beginning, Reptile Room, and Wide Window. And I feel like it focuses too much on comedy, which, to be honest, is kind of what you expect when Jim Carrey is involved. Lemony Snicket himself, or Daniel Handler as his real name is, didn't have a lot of creative control over it either, as far as I've heard. Of course, there had to be a video game released on the Game Boy Advance, PS2, PC, original Xbox, and the one I'm gonna play, the GameCube version.
For those who are unfamiliar with the series, it follows the lives of the 3 Baudelaire children, Violet, Klaus, and Sunny, who have lost their parents and their home to a fire. A well-meaning but terribly incompetent banker, Mr. Poe, takes them into custody of the villainous Count Olaf, who attempts all throughout the series to steal the Baudelaire fortune. His backstory is nowhere to be seen in the movie, but if you are familiar with the series, you can skip these cutscenes. The actors who played Count Olaf, Violet, and Klaus reprise their roles in this game, but everyone else has a different voice cast. What really unsettles me here is that Sunny sounds nothing like she does in the movie, and she looks like a creepy doll. The graphics have definitely shown their age here. Everyone barely, if at all, looks as they're supposed to, and nobody emotes right when they speak. Throughout the game, you can switch between Violet and Klaus. There are also 2D platforming sections where you play as Sunny. A lot of times you're going to be collecting items for Violet to build inventions out of. For instance, a coffee can, a broom handle, a spring, and a boxing glove to build the brilliant Bopper. Klaus uses the Bopper to kill things, destroy crates, and he can even smash pots with them. But what fun is that? I want to break pots with a sword and chuck them in the air. Health, of course, is indicated by hearts, which upon closer inspection are lockets. The pots usually have hearts stored in them, and you can also find puzzle pieces to unlock pictures. Rats are everywhere in this stage, and it can be tricky to aim the bopper at them because you can't use it while you're moving. You have to stop and punch, stop and punch, and stop and punch. Once you clear out all the rats, Violet must build another invention to attack spiders. She needs a large fork from one of Count Olaf's henchmen. The bald man, I think. Not really that hard once you observe his attack pattern. The hook-handed man who throws barrels is even easier. He only takes 1 hit. Using this invention, Violet's method of attacking spiders is shooting rotten fruit at them. Again, they're pretty easy once you learn the pattern, but they just take forever to kill. Count Olaf gives the Baudelaires the task of cooking dinner for him and his troupe. The Baudelaires consult Justice Strauss for a cookbook, but first she needs your help reorganizing her library a little bit by placing a few books back in the correct spots. It's a huge library that takes some time to navigate, and after you pick up a book, you're given a time limit to put it back, but there's not much else to say here. Even after that, the cookbook is still up pretty high, so Violet must invent a device that helps Sunny jump higher. Kinda reminds me of Flood in Mario Sunshine. Swinging planks? What kind of library is this? I'm surprised these platforms don't collapse after she bites through the posts either. And for some reason, she always does this little dance whenever she completes a stage. Back at Count Olaf's, Violet must build stilts to reach the switch that opens the door to their pantry.
I've got an idea. We'll need a tripod, a piano wire, and those snowshoes.
To access the piano wires, you need to play a melody that creates an acoustic resonance, a term which here means a tune so powerful that it causes the piano to explode. It gives you a break from the rest of the music in the game, which can be incredibly repetitive. Luckily, you have the option to turn it off if you get sick of it. And who's this, the hench person of indeterminate gender? Who also takes 1 hit. The cellar is flooded with some green goop of instant death. The stilts obviously come into play here.
Who would store their food in a place like this?
No kidding.
Dinner is served. Puttanesca.
What did you call me?
I suppose only Italian speakers will get that joke.
Where's the roast beef?
Time for them to escape. You just have to avoid lights coming out of windows and flashlights that Olaf's henchmen wield. You can sneak up on them from behind and hit them, but if you touch a light by even a pixel, you get caught. I mean, look! During this escape plan, there's a part where Violet fights the powder-faced women. The fight very slightly reminds me of Twin Rova in Ocarina of Time, except you're not deflecting ice or fire at them. You fling rotten fruit at them while they dance around and shoot fireballs. Maybe I should have kept the music on. Whatever the case may be, they're all so easy. After the Baudelaire's escape, you need to switch train tracks. It's probably the briefest stage so far, and it's based on a scene from the movie that wasn't even in the books. Count Olaf tries to kill the Baudelaires by stopping his car on a railroad track. I think it's somewhere in the hinterlands, where 3 of the books take place. It's not much. Next up is the Reptile Room. In this chapter, the Baudelaires are taken to their next closest living relative, herpetologist Dr. Montgomery Montgomery, or Uncle Monty as he's called. He plans to take them to Peru, but first you go around the garden collecting trophies. Violet modifies Klaus's shoes to help him jump across huge gaps. It kind of reminds me of Deku Link, hovering across tree stumps and mushrooms and killing frogs. Look at this, how could you not think Majora's Mask? Then there's this part where Uncle Monty assigns Violet to kill a swarm of wasps that explode when they sting you. Attacking them while moving doesn't help because they follow you everywhere you go, so all you gotta do is stand still, keep shooting fruit, and they'll never get you. Back inside, you do a little bit of puzzle solving to unlock the cage that has the final trophy. It's only a matter of time before Count Olaf shows up, disguised as Monty's assistant, Stefano. Of course, the Baudelaires don't fall for the disguise, and Monty does. This is a running theme throughout the former half of the series. Meanwhile, you gotta go back outside and collect a few snakes to return to the Reptile Room itself. The snakes are found throughout a hedge maze. Yet again, you'll be running into wasps and Count Olaf's henchmen.
How sad. Boo-hoo.
What was that? I was nowhere near the water. I must say, sunny stages are my favorite in this game. I can't really say much about this hedge maze because it feels like you're just doing the same things over and over while trying to go around getting all the snakes. And until you get to the courtyard and Klaus has to kill more frogs. Then the bald man puts the snakes under a spell, causing them to escape. The fight rotates between recapturing snakes, killing frogs, and bopping the crap out of the bald man until he's dead.
Oh! That won't be the last you hear of me!
Oh hey there, Incredibly Deadly Viper.
The Incredibly Deadly Viper. He's presenting it to the Herpetological Society next month as a new discovery.
Sonny, no!
Don't worry.
Oh come on, no jump scare?
No respect for privacy whatsoever.
You got nothing on me and my rotten fruit, Karen.
Hey! Don't tell Olaf. He'll fire me for sure.
You want to speak to the manager? I'd show you the rest of the chapter, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's not familiar with the series, so next is the wide window. Yet again, Count Olaf escapes, and the Baudelaires are taken to their OCD-stricken, grammar-obsessed Aunt Josephine, who lives along Lake Racamos. And Olaf is back, this time as Captain Sham, aptly named. There's a hurricane coming, so while Aunt Josephine hooks up with Captain Sham, the Baudelaires have to gather supplies.
Bread, cucumbers, limes, grammar books, wind chimes? What kind of hurricane supplies are these?
You can't go inside anywhere since everything's closed, or at least guarded by Olaf's henchmen in disguise. Luckily, you'll find almost everything outside. It's pretty easy stuff to understand. The only part I really hate is this first-person shooter sequence where you need to fling peppermints at people and dodge projectiles they throw at you. It goes on forever, there's crabs all over the place, and you have to do it all in the same life bar. The hook-handed man himself, on the other hand, just throws barrels as usual and goes down in one hit. Then you can get the grammar books. Unfortunately, by the time the Baudelaires make it back to Aunt Josephine's, it's too late. Or at least that's what it seems like until Klaus decodes a secret message indicating she's hiding. But the hurricane is destroying her house. This is where things get a little harder. Collapsing platforms, flying debris, swinging chandeliers. Violet finds an umbrella that works similar to Klaus's shoes. I don't remember this from the movie, or the books. They could have just been running out of ideas at this point, who knows.
This is getting dangerous!
getting dangerous. It already was to begin with. I kind of wish this game had a level on the sailboat that the Baudelaires take to Curdled Cave, but there's not even a cutscene, it skips straight to the cave. Oh wait, you get to defend Aunt Josephine from the Lachrymose Leeches. Okay. Like the movie, the game ends with the marvelous marriage. In the books, this was part of the bad beginning. Count Olaf actually tries to marry Violet so that he can get his hands on their fortune. With this being based on the movie, it plays out differently from the books and is a lot shorter than the rest of the game. After that, the ending is neither happy nor climactic.
No, I don't think the movie or the game are horrible. They just have some things that make them overall inferior to the books and quite forgettable in comparison. The game can be pretty fun at times, and there are some aspects of the book series here that weren't even covered or referenced in the movie. It's decent, but there's not much replay value to it. I think only fans of the movie will legitimately enjoy it. A movie, and especially a video game, based on a book series is a neat idea. It could have been executed a little better, particularly if it was longer than just the first 3 books, and if it wasn't overly comedic. Well, that's why the Netflix adaptation exists, and at this point I highly, highly recommend you watch it. Otherwise I'm just not going to shut up about it. It adapts every single one of the books, it's a lot darker, and definitely a lot more engaging. I see it as an underrated gem, and the definitive adaptation of the series. I started watching it for the 3rd time, and I can still watch it any day. With that being said, that's it for this installment, and I'll see you in the next one.